Hi, welcome to Hit the Bar, the Shrimps fans panel. We've no actual football to talk about at the moment, but we did say close season. If anything happened, we might have another one or two. Let's see what developments happen in the next couple of weeks. But we have had something happen, haven't we?
Just a little bit.
We've got Joe, we've got Liam, and we've got James all returning for this one. And I got the announcement about Derek coming back, and it surprised me. I was maybe expecting something to happen this week, but that wasn't top of my list of things I was expecting. What about you, Joe?
No, because he said they'd interviewed loads of candidates. He had some good candidates, never said who. And then all of a sudden, Derek's back. And then I'm on the fence.
Yeah, was it something anybody was expecting? Liam, were you have you heard anything? Or?
I feel like we should have expected it, just because of the pattern.
Yeah.
But no, I completely didn't. Even to the point where a few hours before, when there was the rumours, I didn't believe it.
No.
But I'm glad it's happened. I'm not on the fence, admittedly. I'm over the moon, but we should have seen it coming in hindsight.
What about you, James? Did you hear anything, or did you think there was going to be a manager announcement first before an ownership announcement?
I was very shocked, to be honest. I thought that the ownership announcement would probably come first. There's things that we'll come on to, but I was very shocked, and my first thought was, what's happening here? I wasn't expecting him to come back for a third spell. There'd been a few names going around in various circles that have been linked with the job. So I was thinking that we would probably get a new manager that hadn't managed us before. But deep down, having thought about it and processed it, I think it is the right appointment.
I think that's the same for everybody. I mean, I'd heard names. Obviously, we'd all heard John Coleman. That was one name that we were sort of, if we were going to hear this soon about a new manager before an ownership announcement, and we will come on to talk about that. That was the name I was expecting. But like everybody seems to have been, once you digest it and you sort of think, it's Derek, he knows the club, he's been with us before, he's always done all right. We had a little poll, we have a sort of WhatsApp group between ourselves, don't we? And we had a little poll, good decision or bad, and it was unanimous on it. Everybody says good decision. What particularly do you think is good about Derek being reappointed?
Well, he's going to make a team, isn't it? That he's going to challenge for the league. It's
steady.
You know if he's going to challenge. You know he's done it before. He built a League One team. You know, all right, he got relegated in that one. That's his only down. But he got more points than the season before, so it speaks for his League One. He built the team last year, and I do believe if Derek did stay for the season, we would have got playoffs.
Right, because he left us, what were we, 6 when he left us, something like that?
We had like 2 games in hand as well, didn't we? If we won, I'm sure he would have taken us up there.
Yeah. You're happy with the appointment, Liam?
Over the moon.
Not everybody has been.
No,
you know, there's been a lot on social media where people, you can't go back. You know, it's like sort of, I have 4 daughters. It's like one of them comes back and, he's my boyfriend who's left me twice to go with somebody else who has more money. And your advice would be, don't go back there again. But it's not the case, is it, with Derek?
No, the thing is with Derek, I'm in the camp where, worst case scenario, say if we ended up on a -12 deduction because of administration, I somehow believe Derek could take that -12 and get us into a top half finish. Maybe not playoffs or, automatics, but he could turn a -12 into a boring mid-table season with just getting those 1-0 wins and those 1-1 draws at the likes of Notts County. Yeah. So the fact he's in now, he's been given a budget. Still, I mean, his budget last season was the lowest with Accrington, and he managed to, as we say, when he left us, we were in the hunt for playoffs, automatic.
And when we got promoted with Derek, it was
same budget.
The lowest one, or one of the lowest anyway.
I'm really optimistic. I think that's the best way to put it, optimistic for another Derek run.
Which you probably didn't feel like you were going to be at this stage of the close season, being optimistic about next season.
I thought we were playing the kids, and then the kids got released as well, so...
What about you, James? I mean, the criticisms, if there have been any, is going back again and will he drop us in it again? Although both times it's been to clubs that have got bigger budgets, have promised him the earth, and he's gone about it the right way. They've gone through the club and we've got compensation. Both times I didn't realise that we had compensation on the Bradford one. I thought he'd just seen his contract out, but we've compensated for that as well. So that's one of them, going back a third time to some of these ditches, and his style of football, which not everybody likes to watch. How do you sit with that, James? Do you have any truck with that kind of argument, or?
I mean, I did initially. When he first came back, when it was announced the other day, I was like, well, he's left us this many times. Is he going to leave us again? Obviously, he's come on a rolling contract, so he could leave whenever he likes. But he obviously has good relationships with the people at the club. He knows, like the others have said, he knows the club inside out now. Most of the fans like him, and ultimately, he's the right man for the job at this moment in time. And hopefully we'll get new owners in and he'll have a decent budget to work with come the start of the season.
Going on to that, do you think, Joe, that the appointment of a manager, although it had to be done and it had to be done early, does the appointment of a manager, does the advert for a general manager and a finance director, is that just what it is, or does that tell you any more about what might be coming in the next few days and weeks?
Bit of everything, isn't it? It's replacing Ben, because Ben's left, did a great job. They need that in place. They've got to still move the club forward. They've got to level the club out. Got to move for the season forward. But is there going to be a change of ownership? Is there something in the works? It sounds like maybe there is, but they've said there's a little bit of funds there. It's got to balance itself out, so we've got to move forward now. And don't know how much you want to look into it all.
Do you think Derek would have come back on that kind of flimsy basis, or do you think there is more of a promise of, hang on a minute, we're close to getting a new owner now?
Well, I'd like to think that he knows something we don't, because Derek was very vocal, wasn't he? He was vocal about Jason Whittingham, about the budget, about just anything behind the scenes. So for him to come back, you'd like to think something's being promised. But we have got to be realistic as well. We're a football club. As long as Jason does want to sell, he has to fund us still. So these jobs that have come up might just be, right, we've got the budget now.
Right.
But the romantic in me wants to go, we've got a new owner coming in next week.
Yeah.
So regarding the jobs, is that, a sign to the future? I'm kind of not letting myself get carried away.
Because it may just be a functional thing.
Exactly that, yeah.
It's just a club filling them roles, isn't it? Like Ben's got his wages freed up and he's there to carry on paying somebody to
we'll find out one way or the other fairly soon, I would hope, anyway, because, there's things have to be put in place for us to get a team together, and there are these whispers about, so you hope that something's going to come of it. Whispers that may or may not have something to do with the work that the Shrimps Trust has done, James, because, it has to be said, the publicity has been great, and a lot of that has been generated by the Shrimps Trust. Where are we on that? We've got a GoFundMe campaign going. What's all that about? Do you want to just explain that for people?
Yeah, so we launched the GoFundMe last week, and obviously it's really taken off quite quickly. The GoFundMe was under the campaign Save Our Shrimp, so we released a video which has amassed over 300,000 views on Twitter. And because of the evolving situation, there's not like a set thing that the funds will be used for, but we've had calls for a long time to have some sort of fighting fund in case we need it. So this could be used, to increase our shareholding in the club.
Okay.
We don't have the funds, and I don't think we'll ever have the funds to take over the club as fans, because that would require millions.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's new ownership, then it could be spent on it to help the club on a capital project, maybe helping to build a new fan zone.
But it's just basically getting a bit of money behind you, so that if you do need it in the future,
that's right.
And of course it does set up that process of raising funds to sort of get some kind of involvement in the football club, which you never know where that might go.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is that obviously, I think it's unlikely now, but we'll go bust. But if we were to go bust, those funds would be quite significant in helping to form a Phoenix Club, which I Shrimps Trust would have a major part in. So there's, and of course, with the membership, any major spending we would have a vote on. We wouldn't just do it. We would put it to the members. So yeah, it's got a great deal of publicity. We've had lots of news outlets interested, and we've been on the airwaves quite a bit recently. And so far we've raised, last time I looked, about £27,000 towards our £50,000 initial target.
It's such a short time, isn't it?
We're doing well with it, and we'd like to thank the fans and fans of wider from further afield who have contributed to that.
Excellent. Right, and just on the trust, we said we were going to have a meeting between the trust and Jason Wintigan. That didn't happen, but he did respond in written form to the questions that you put to him. What do you make of those responses? Do you want to just sort of précis a few of them and just tell us what you think of his responses?
I was very disappointed with his responses, but not surprised.
Right.
My view is that he was trying to blame everyone but himself.
Because he did imply that the flack that he had and the publicity that it engendered from people like the fans had put people off buying the club in some way. I can't see how that would.
He was suggesting that someone pulled out because of social media posts, and he blamed the board towards it as well, saying that their statements put off buyers, and I just don't see it.
If I was wanting to buy a club, I would want a fan base that cared about what happened to the club, so I can't see that.
And the other thing was that in his email response to us, he said, I noticed that it's gone out to the media before your members. Well, that wasn't the case. We put it out first thing in the morning. It was in the media in the afternoon. We didn't put it to the media. He sent it to the media, so it was.
It's been made to talk, hasn't it?
Yeah, and obviously he's been on TalkSport the other day as well, and called the Shrimps Trust a minority of fans, which we're not quite happy about.
Well, I mean, that statistically that may be the case if you look at the actual fan base, but I think people who aren't members are still sympathetic to the aims of the trust anyway. They just haven't paid the dues in it. That way, that's a bit unfair, is that? He wants out, to be fair, doesn't he? And we're looking for new ownership. Have you heard any rumours, anything like that? And Liam, you were touching on, because I think with Derek coming back, a lot of people, we know that he went big in publicity last year saying he's going to take the club to the Championship, and that was on the back of, we thought, some connection he had with a potential investor or a potential buyer. Do you know anything about that, Liam?
Well, firstly, if we look at Derek, how happy he was back then, we were all buzzing for it, and it's one of those now where I'm told by, people who I believe and have, good knowledge in the thing, that it was the family, the name leaves me, but who have taken over at Carlisle United.
Right. Okay.
And we look at them and they're kind of like the perfect owner. At the minute, anyway, it can all go south, but they invested heavily in the playing squad despite Carlisle going down. They released a statement the other day letting the fans know exactly what they were doing to the stadium and the facilities. I think it was a £4 million getting injected. And if that is true, which I do believe it to be, we can see why Derek was happy and then why he suddenly jumped ship. But it's one of those things where we want ideal owners like that. And I don't know who's in discussions now. We know, we're told that there's 4. One of them being Sarjot. That is his name? Sarjot, that's his name. Hopefully it's not him. Hopefully the 3 others are better, but at this rate, it's almost anyone's better than Jason, isn't it?
And he wants to go, to be fair, doesn't he? He wants to sell it, but the issue has always been how much people are prepared to pay for it. But do you get a feeling that we're maybe a little bit closer, a little bit further down the line?
Yeah, I think you do. I feel he's running out. His cash is dwindling. It's affecting his bond group. And, he's slowly getting desperate now.
Yeah.
I think he's got 4 on the table. He's going to work them. Hopefully, one of them is like Liam says, a decent investor that wants to back the club, take it all forward. But I think he's getting desperate now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have some good news and we can have another hit the bar soon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I'll throw at you, we've not heard any other. We know that we've not got John McMahon anymore. We've not got Jed Brannan. We've got Fitzgerald still involved in the club. I think, is he?
Fitzy. Yeah, Fitz is there in his original role.
Yeah. Who are we thinking of for assistant manager? Do we think it might be Fitz or? I'm going to throw a name out. This is why Jan Songu.
Well, if we can get him back as a player and a coach.
He keeps coming back whenever Derek comes back, and he was doing a lot of coaching towards the end of last season.
Well, stick him in coaching role and give it big bass.
Derek had a unique view on it, didn't he? I don't know if anyone's got him on LinkedIn, but Derek's never really had a set coaching route.
He's kind of taken whoever's been there,
like when he came to us, he took Barry on board, he took John McMahon on board, but recently, as he's been doing the rounds, he was at Plymouth the other day for an interview on the BBC. He's been almost recruiting the Avengers of coaching on his LinkedIn profile. Yeah. So if you want to go search through that, you might be able to find
150 agents plus his contact.
That's right. His email for players.
So.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do another one of these in maybe a couple of weeks' time or 3 weeks, something like that. And we'll have a bit more news on possibly ownership, players coming in, and I don't know, assistant manager, that kind of thing. AGM, somebody's mouthing AGM to me. Go on.
Yes, so the Shrimps Trust AGM is going to be taking place in August. I think it's August the 8th off the top of my head. It's a Thursday night at the Mazima Mobile Stadium in the local choice suite. We are on the lookout for trustees because we're going to have quite a few positions that will need filling. So if you're out there and you want to get involved or you want to hear more about what the Shrimps Trust, what being a trustee involves, feel free to get in touch with us, shrimpstrust@gmail.com. And it'd be great if we could get some new blood on board.
Give us that time and date again, James.
Thursday, the 8th of August, 7 p.m. And nominations need to be in by Friday, July the 26th.
There you go. Thanks for that. We'll speak to you next time, but hope you feel that it was worthwhile as just coming back in again close season and we've not interrupted your cricket too much, but we'll speak to you again next time.